are going to start this training by performing a few patterns, starting with the S relais. Depending on the space you have, you may go in strides of successive S relais or go back and forth from one side to the other. We're going to follow with meia lua slides. That's a meia lua lunge in which we cross one leg in front of the other and bring both arms with the fingers facing the back foot and then pivot on the front leg, performing in essence a backslide to come back up. Again, we lunge, our trunk and fingers face the back foot and we pivot on the front leg. Then starting from a squat, we are going to pivot backwards, sitting on the front heel and perform a carousel, pivoting 180 degrees in the process. Once you have the 180, you can try the 360, for which you're going to have to pivot forward towards the direction that you're traveling to. So if I'm traveling to the right side, I am pivoting to the right, sitting on the left heel and ending up facing the same wall. Then you can stack a few boxes or use a couch or a bed and perform your sissy squat drops that you may have worked on with your Aladdin and other spinny bridges. Remember, here we're trying to keep our hips nice and square, and what I want you to emphasize is also the way up, using both the hip drive and your scapula and elbow to push yourself up. You want to warm up that arm in the process and bring as much attention on the way down, which has to be soft, as on the way up, which has to be powerful. We are then going to transfer the weight on the leg, on the side of the arm that came down, which usually happens naturally, and allow the opposite leg to travel into a relais. So if I drop the left arm down, we're sliding the right leg around the left foot. Moving on to the technical part of this sequence. We're going to start with our meia lua slide, in which you want to drag the front foot, that's the bent leg, and finish with your usual pivot. As you pivot on that front foot, we're going to push on our arm and drive the hips up to come back up like a spinny bridge. As we have seen before, the degree of which we can extend those hips and arch that back is going to be individual specific, so work within what you can do. We're then going to see a very specific transition for this sequence. Starting on all four, we're going to raise one leg up and shoot that leg between the arm on the same side and the opposite front leg to end up in a tripod. From that tripod, we're going to perform some form of an S relais, pivot around the front foot and come back in a squat. In the process, you are rotating 180 degrees. Now try the same, but extend the knee of the pivoting leg to stand back up, trying to keep all the weight on that pivoting leg so that the opposite leg is as light as possible on that floor. Standing up, we're gonna carousel our way down. Same logic as what we have seen in the warm-up. We can do this 180 degrees, spinning backwards, or 360, which is a bit harder, spinning forward. That pattern will remind you of the corkscrew, which we are after eventually in the sequence. Remember, we want to perform a small step before unraveling into our carousel and arch a bit more, letting the gaze trail to perform the corkscrew. Worst case scenario, we close a bit more the hips, and that will give us a carousel down. From your sliding meia lua, instead of coming back up, we're going to perform a spinny bridge, bringing the opposite hand down on the floor. From there, you can lift the opposite leg, that's the leg on the side of the second hand, which will in essence put you in the right position for the transitions we've seen together. Again, if we meia lua with the left leg forward, that's the right hand down first, the left hand down second, and the left leg up. From that position, you can perform your transition. Keep working on that little combo again and again and again until you have it smooth before moving forward. If you manage to keep the weight away from the trailing leg, you'll be able to take that step that allows us to come down into our corkscrew. This is arguably the harder part of this sequence, so I suggest that you work on it separately. From your transition position, you're going to pivot, and the moment the trailing foot finds the floor, allow the upper body to trail, arch, and go down into your carousel or corkscrew.